My name is Jill Dahlquist, and I am from Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. I went to the University of Wisconsin, graduated in '79, went to the University of Wisconsin Law School, graduated in '83, worked for private practice, small private practices, Legal Action, which was Legal Services Corporation. I worked as an assistant city attorney, had my own practice, still have my own practice, and in 1995 went into the Inner Focus Energy Healing School and graduated from Inner Focus in 1998. Got a ministerial degree in 1999, I think. And then have done a variety of different alternative healing conferences and workshops. I have 2 kids, one who's 19 and one who's 12, 2 poodles, for those poodle lovers, Julia and Jasper. Have been married for 28 years, and I'm here. I think that the path that I have been on is one that is similar to a lot of other lawyers. We go into the legal profession for different reasons. Be they issues of personal power, or truth-telling, or peacemaking. Perhaps in our families we had a role of trying to mediate disputes. Perhaps in our workplace we would take on a role of trying to speak the truth. My reasons are not different than any other lawyers. But how my path may vary a little bit is I started to develop a lot of physical pain. And after about 10 years of legal practice, I had a lot of injuries from sports and that just wouldn't heal. And the stress of the occupation, I didn't allow myself the time that I needed to heal, that I needed to take care of myself. And I think that that's a real occupational hazard for lawyers, working very long hours and not taking care of ourselves. And I went into an energy healing school as a last resort. I'm not a new agey kind of person. I went in there because of a recommendation of somebody that I knew that said, hey, try this, it really helped my shoulder. And I went in, and it was a life-changing type of an event. So what I did is I was in pain, but I responded to it. I listened to it, and I tried to take some actions to take care of myself, and I ended up in an energy healing school. And while I was there, I was also in my own private practice, and I began to experiment with ways to apply energy healing principles to the practice of law. And I found that there are many other lawyers doing this around the country, which really surprised me, because I thought I had, gosh, I must be the only one thinking about these things. I must be the only one doing these kinds of things. And lo and behold, there are judges, there are lawyers in all kinds of different places experimenting with this, trying these procedures, trying to see if we can come up with a more peaceful way to resolve things, trying to see if we can live a life that is more integrated with our spiritual philosophies, our practices, so that we don't feel like we have to become different people when we step into that law practice or leave to come home. We don't have to be different people. We can integrate some of these things together, and that's what I've been experimenting with. And over the course of doing that, my body began to heal, and I began to feel better. And I began to feel better about what I do and the practice of law, and that's what I really want to share. There isn't a lawyer out there that is not on a spiritual path. No one. There's not one lawyer that isn't looking for ways to connect to their heart. We may not be real open about it, but it is there. It's the reason why we're here on this earth. And I have done different workshops for lawyers talking about this a little bit, and sometimes lawyers look at me like, that sounds a little strange, that sounds a little odd. But then when I begin to talk with them, they realize that some of the things that I talk about in energy healing practices are the things that they do. They're just not conscious of it. Example, one of the wonderful skills that lawyers have is bringing everybody together in a dispute around a table and trying to find ways to settle a dispute, to resolve a dispute. Win-win. This party needs this party needs this. Can we give a little here? Can we bend a little here? Can we do this, that, or the other thing to kind of come up with a resolution? Wonderful skill. Well, when you're doing energy healing work, you also bring together a variety of different forces, and you try to come up with a win-win situation with people. And in doing so, you allow the highest and the best to emerge. Litigators are very intuitive people. It's not just an act. It's not just power. It's not necessarily trying to force your will on a situation. Good litigators are very intuitive people. They're practicing energy healing practices. They may not think it, but they are. And my passion is to let lawyers know every lawyer can be aware of this, and we can do this consciously to try to make the world a better place, to make our practice a better practice, to help our clients feel more whole, more satisfied, to help ourselves feel less reactive, to help ourselves become more secure in what we do, more confident in what we do, have more passion, actually have feelings instead of trying to throw them away. So when I start to teach other lawyers in different workshops about energy healing practices, a lot of people start to nod their heads. Well, this is kind of what I do. This is kind of what I did in this case. This is kind of what I did in that case. And so the realization of that is a very awakening kind of a moment, and it can really help lawyers develop their skills and become what they want to be. The group peace process is a name that I gave to really an energetic settlement conference. I write about it a little bit from a perspective of what I see, but people really do a variety of things. They use these processes and put their own stamp on it. But what it does is the recognition that people in legal disputes come together for a specific reason. And those reasons for being together locked in a dispute, they are opportunities for everyone's spiritual growth, and that includes the lawyers who are involved in the process. Lawyers, plaintiffs, defendants, key witnesses, they all hold a piece of the conflict. It's kind of like the spokes of a bicycle wheel. Everybody's holding a piece of the tension. And what the group peace process does is recognize that a lawyer holds part of that tension. And if a lawyer understands his or her role in this conflict on a very deep level, the whole dynamic changes.